So my story starts where a season where I genuinely thought that I was losing. And I utterly felt like I was stuck while the world was moving on around me. I remember a time right after I graduated college, I'm seeking work in my profession, and I work as an athletic trainer. So my dream job is to work at the collegiate level or to work with high level athletes and even possibly at the professional level. And so I was one of only 5 students in my program to graduate and to pass my board exam. So I'm riding high, which left me with a good amount of self-esteem. And I believed wholeheartedly that I was going to be successful. But it didn't quite work out that way. And I had to do a number of things while on the way to getting where I wanted to go. My first job, I thought that I was going to work at the university, and I actually wound up working in a warehouse in a medical records warehouse at that. And I did that part time while working part time at a gym, and I did that for about a year. And then I transitioned from that. The next year, I worked at a physical therapy clinic. I did that full time, and then I worked part time at the local junior college in sports. But I was mostly on call. And during this particular time, it looked like I finally got my foot in the door and I had the opportunity. I continued to apply everywhere, and I didn't have any opportunities that came up outside of what I was already doing. I was also trying to work some camps, worked at a couple junior colleges, but I eventually had to get a job and really, focus in on providing a life for myself. So I worked security full time while still trying to keep my foot in the door. And as I looked up, 7 years had passed, and I had some relevant experience, but it wasn't truly what I wanted. It wasn't until I took a chance and I told myself, Prince, take a couple steps back. And when I did that, my career, little did I know my career and my life would catapult forward. So I applied at this job at a major university, Power 5 university, and I took it as a full-time intern. I was getting paid very little, but I had a lot of responsibilities. I stayed humbled and I worked hard, and all of that experience from those things, even though they seemed kind of unrelated at the time, it became my biggest superpower because it really taught me the value of perseverance, determination, mindset, and navigating things that seemingly seem like they're not connected. But what that does is that allows you to be able to connect with others at a very deep level. So I did that for a couple years, a number of years. And then after that, that's when my career jumped off because I was getting the experiences and the jobs that weren't open and available to me. Now they're starting to open doors for me. The point of all this is within a very short amount of time that I had worked for this major university with high level athletes allowed me to walk into a period of time where now I was getting offers at other major universities. I was able to work at the Olympics at the Olympic Training Center. And then I also got a job working at with the NFL. And I soon became a leader in my field at a relatively young age. And I was ahead, not behind, with more experiences, sometimes more than my colleagues. But the funny thing is, I thought that graduating college meant instant success, especially in sports. But I faced 7 years of unrelated jobs and stagnated opportunities. I took a couple steps backwards. I took a low-paying internship job, and things that seemed to be unrelated became my superpower. And so it taught me perseverance, deep connection, and ultimately taking my career to the next level. See, what I couldn't see, there was things happening in the background that were creating profound transformations in me that was preparing me for something far greater. Because while it looked like I was losing, I was actually building an invisible fortress inside myself. While it did look like I was losing, I was actually winning in the game. I just couldn't see it. And the harder I tried, the more personal it got for me. I thought I was failing. I thought I was doing something wrong. I thought I wasn't good enough, maybe. I was seeing people around me excel and they were getting the jobs that I wanted. And if I'm honest, it was quite discouraging at times. I literally felt stuck. Of course, I had people that cared about me say, well, Prince, you're smart. You're a smart guy. Why don't you do something else? Maybe this isn't the path for you. I rejected that. I often resented that sentiment, although it was maybe coming from a place of love. I knew that I had to follow what was in my head and in my heart. See, here's the truth that no one tells you. What is meant for you is meant for you. But you have to decide and own that reality and what that reality looks like. And the path isn't always straight. There was lessons that I needed to learn along the way. And those lessons, I had to make sense of it in the moment. See, Steve Jobs says, quoted, you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots looking back. See, there were so many things that I needed to develop in me to be able to handle the life that I said that I wanted. And that path isn't always easy, but it is always right. So despite the external setbacks, it cultivated a sense of progress. And I had to reject the well-meaning advice to quit. I had to choose to trust my inner conviction and accept the path isn't always straight and lessons unfold over time. And then I recognized that those perceived delays were crucial for developing the necessary qualities to be able to handle the desired future that I said that I wanted. This unseen work really laid the groundwork for. So I'll leave you with this. So if you're feeling like you're behind or you're stuck, remember this, your timeline is unique to you. And what looks like delay often is your deepest development. So true winning isn't about faking it. It's about becoming genuinely powerful from the inside out.